All right, welcome to episode two. I have discovered that I cannot use the name Mental Martial Arts. There is another YouTuber who has that name. So I am considering renaming this channel Out of the Shadows. I have to look into whether or not anyone is currently using that name. This episode is going to be about creating hope and taking action. Hope is vital to anyone, whether you have depression or not. If you want to change something in your life, you need to be hopeful and believe that you can do it, whether it seems hard or not. If you feel hopeless, if you feel like this is a losing battle, I cannot do this. It's going to be a difficult road to say the least. So let's work on creating a sense of hope. Believe that you can get out of this. I can testify that you can get out of this. I wouldn't be sitting here if there wasn't a way out. I have been in some very deep depressed states. I have also been very anxious. I have been to the point where I didn't want to really socialize at all. Very bad social anxiety. Again, those issues are something I struggle with, perhaps mentally, but I can absolutely get through, and I'm doing far better now. So again, yes, be hopeful. You can do this. It is doable. It is achievable. So let's think about what we can do. What are some actions you can take now? Some real applicable stuff. So I would say one of the first things to do is kind of gauge again, where are you at? Are you in a place where you feel very, very hopeless, very much like you're trapped, you don't know what to do, you don't see a way out, you almost feel like trying might be pointless, it's a losing battle in your mind. Um, so what I would do when I find myself in that situation, or when I have found myself in that situation, is I go for distraction before action. Um, so what does that mean besides me making a clever rhyme? So when you're distracting yourself, you're trying to get your thoughts off of this depressed way of thinking, this my life is over kind of thing. You want to find things that will take your mind off of it. Music, books, TV, movies. For me, books work very well. They take my focus off of the negativity and the hopelessness, the fear, all those sorts of things. I can kind of get involved in the book, go on this journey with the characters, so to speak, and get out of my head. Now, conversely, that doesn't work for everyone. Some people with depression have told me on numerous occasions, Matt, I can't focus. I can't sit down long enough to read. I can't do that. That's fine. Like I said, you can listen to music, you can watch TV, you can watch a movie. Drawing is great. Even if you're not a great artist, simple line drawings. There's coloring books. There's adult coloring books. I'm kind of a nerd. Honestly, I've sat down and colored superheroes with my nieces and nephews, and I find it very therapeutic. And I would take it over the adult coloring books that are just abstract pictures. Again, do what you feel. Don't do something and feel like, oh my God, I'm being childish. What would people think of me? If it's taking your mind off of your issues, if it's making you feel better, even for that 10, 15, 20 minutes, whatever it is, if it's helping you, that's what matters. Don't worry about what anybody else thinks. I don't care if somebody walked in and saw me coloring Spider-Man and was like, wow, you're a loser. I'd be like, yeah, well, that's what you think. It's all a matter of perception. It's about what you think. It's not about what anyone else thinks. The people who matter in your life are going to support you. They're not going to tell you that you're doing something wrong. They're not going to tell you that what you're doing is stupid. They're going to want you to get better. So again, focus on those people. Focus on the people that you need, the people that actually matter. The next thing I would recommend is to create a routine. Now, this isn't to say, oh, get up, do an hour of exercise. Then after that exercise, hit the shower. Then go out and apply for jobs. After you apply for jobs, hey, why don't you figure out a school to go back to? I'm not talking about that kind of a grand scale of a routine. I'm talking very small steps, small actionable steps. Again, it could be something as simple as when you wake up, you make your bed. After you make your bed, you brush your teeth. Literally, those could be your two goals for a week, 2 weeks, even a month. That seems like a long time perhaps, but if it is something where you're making progress and it's difficult for you to do, but you're doing it, again, go at your own pace. So, other things you can do. I would recommend some kind of exercise, both physical and mental, or either or to start off with, I should say. Don't overwhelm yourself. Um, Physical exercise, it doesn't have to be something as ambitious as, say, CrossFit, or I'm going to go do jujitsu for 2 hours. I'm going to go to a boxing gym for an hour, 2 hours. That's a lot to take on. Even people who are in great condition don't just jump into that stuff. They started somewhere and it wasn't at the top. So I would recommend something simple. There's a lot of yoga videos on YouTube. You can find ones as short as, I've seen ones as short as 10 minutes. I actually do one that's only 10 minutes as part of my routine. So start with that. Again, you might feel like, well, this is so small. Why am I doing this? What is this in the grand scheme of things? But the truth of the matter is a step is a step. I had heard somewhere that recovery is like a circular staircase. You continue going up and you don't realize how far you've gone. You don't realize how much more there is ahead of you. However, even though you don't see how far you've gone or how much is left, you're making progress. And there's going to come a time where you look back at all these small steps and they added up. You've gotten somewhere to where you feel like, wow, this is very different. And in that regard, keep in mind, compare your progress to yourself. Compare yourself now to where you were a week ago, 2 weeks ago, a month ago, etc., etc. But see how far you've come as an individual. Don't worry about what your friends are doing, what everyone else out there is doing on social media, etc. With social media, keep in mind, people are putting their best face forward. They're not going to show you the issues they might have at work, with their family, with their loved ones, their spouse, whatever it is. Everyone has something going on. I don't care how wonderful it looks. In terms of a mental exercise, I would recommend reading is great. Like I said, read online articles, order a book. It doesn't necessarily mean you have to finish the book cover to cover in a week or whatever. Even if you only read a portion and you're like, that's enough, I'm going to move on. Again, you're taking action. That's what I want you to do, is start, take action. It's not about how much per se. Other mental exercises, meditation. I have recently started doing it. I really enjoy it. I can't recommend it enough. I will say it took me time to find the right meditation for me, shall we say. I personally don't find unguided meditations useful. By unguided, I mean just music, noises, you're sitting there and just listening to it with your eyes closed and your thoughts are just kind of racing. Some people enjoy that. If you do, absolutely, do it. As I said, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, an hour. If you really enjoy it, 2 hours, 3 hours, whatever. I find guided meditations better, where there's some kind of a structure as to what you should be visualizing, what you should be thinking. That's what helps me. Again, take what you can from me, absorb what's useful, discard what is useless. That is a quote from Bruce Lee, and he was a very talented individual in my humble opinion. So, excuse me as I look at my notes here. The last thing I'd like to cover, this seems very simple, but again, I found this extremely, extremely effective. If you take one thing from this video, I would recommend this be it. So if you have something you need to do or you'd like to do, whether that's going to the laundromat, meeting up with friends, going on a job interview, getting out of bed and talking to your roommate, whatever it is, what I refer to this as is pull the trigger therapy. I don't know if I'm trademarking that or not. Maybe someone else has said it. But when you have the thought, you know what? I'd really like to call my brother right now. I would really like to go and see my friend right now. Maybe I should start reading that book. Maybe I should watch that one show my friend has been telling me about. Don't stop and think about it. Do it. Do it immediately. As soon as you have the thought, get up, start walking, get to where you need to be, start doing it. If you allow yourself the time to tell yourself why. Well, I can't do this until I have these things in place, or it might not work because, what about this? You start creating these potential problems in your mind. It's barriers for you, and they're barriers that aren't necessarily real, or at the very least you're likely exaggerating them. They're not as hard as you think they are. When you face something, everyone says the thought is worse than the reality. That's just how it is in life with everything. That's part of the human experience. So again, small things. If you feel like washing the dishes, you feel like calling a friend, you feel like going for a walk, do it. Just do it immediately. As I say, pull the trigger. Don't sit there and wait. Don't allow yourself to freeze. Part of this metaphor as well. Let's say hypothetically you're in a situation where someone is trying to attack you. Let's say your life is in danger and you had a gun and this could save your life. If you stand there and hesitate and think, oh my God, am I going to kill this guy? Is he going to kill me? What's going to happen? Oh my, well, now you may have literally just given him the opportunity to end your life, and it's game over. So again, with the metaphor, this threat is coming, wow, this is a life or death situation, pull the trigger. It's over. You will deal with the aftermath. Maybe it's scary, maybe it's not, but at least, getting out of the metaphor into reality, at least you took action. It's not always about what results you produce. I don't care if what you did solved your problem, so to speak, but what I care about is that you've made progress. Feel good about that progress. I don't care how small it is, how incremental, but that's what it's about. So, all right, this is going to be the end of this video. I know it's kind of sudden, but YouTube has a time limit. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you guys next week.